I know y'all thinking, who is that? Where has she been? Okay, I don't know what happened because I was fine. And I thought I had food poisoning at first because I taught one of those nutrition classes, but I didn't eat breakfast because I had to get on the road really early. And so when I was on my way there, I noticed this, pizza place. And they had the big signs and they had margarita pizza, which is my favorite. I don't like a lot of stuff on my pizza. So when I left, I went and I got that so I could eat it in the car on the way home. So I, originally thought it was something to do with the pizza. I was, had food poisoning or whatever. 4 days later, I was still dying. And I mean, I couldn't go anywhere. I went from my bed to the bathroom and back and forth. I've lost 5 pounds. You probably can't tell, but I'm like, it was awful. It's been the worst week. So finally, last Monday, um, I called my doctor. I said, I don't know what's happening. So they do the video calls, and I described all my symptoms, and I took my phone and I showed him where it was hurting in my abdominal area and everything. And so they prescribed me 2 antibiotics, and he said it was something called diverticulitis. And I'm like, okay, what is that? And the way he described how people get it, though, I mean, it's like my diet that shouldn't have happened. But anyway, at this point now, quinoa is off the diet. I can't eat like sunflower seeds and stuff like that. It's just he said those kind of things tend to make it flare up, and I guess it's just a natural byproduct of getting old. But I was like, this getting old shit is for the birds. I'm not feeling it at all because stuff be going wrong and you don't even do anything, and then you go to sleep fine and wake up all fucked up. So, there's something to be said for taking care of yourself and enjoying your life while you are young, because then, all kind of mystery ailments be popping up when you get old. So anyway, enough of my whining. Let's get started with the show. This is the relationship advice show that I missed last week because I was just flat on my back. But these people send in their questions in advance. And what I'll do is I'll put this across the screen so that people who are new here can see how this is how you submit a question to be in this column. Just look down below there and you'll see it. This is this is a different time for me. I think the only time I started the show this time was when we did February Day. We went from like noon to 6. But normally I'm on in the late afternoon. But I tell you what, it's been too hot to be sitting up here at 4 or 5 o'clock. Now, I'm not doing that. So we go before the sun that gets to its hottest. I'm gonna be off of this computer and somewhere in the house where it's a lot cooler than here by this window. So yeah. So let's cut that out and let's get started with this show. We have looks like 26 questions. 26 questions today for those of you who like to keep track. Let me get over. Hey, Leandra. Yes, you did catch it live. It's a holiday, so I really wasn't expecting too many people to show up, especially not this time of day. But I did want to make sure these people got answers to their questions because it's a week. The show's a week late, So let's go. Let's see. It's got question number one. This is a young lady, 35 to 41, from Fargo, North Dakota. Summary issue: why do men keep asking me over to their house for the third date? You don't know? Girl, you so brand new. That's cute though. First date is a happy hour drink. Second one is another happy hour drink and a walk slash talk. The third date, they asked me to come over to their house to cook me dinner. I typically don't feel comfortable going to someone's house when I feel like I've only just met them. So then I need to suggest doing something else, like dinner at a restaurant. And most of them, not all, seem at least slightly offended that I don't fully trust them yet. And most recently, because I knew of him from the community, I did go to a man's house on the third day so he could cook me dinner and was then told I was sending mixed messages when I kissed him but didn't want to stay and have nook nook. I'm starting to read the third date come over so I can cook for you dinner to mean I expect nook nook on the third date. I know this isn't always what every man means when they ask a woman over to cook dinner, and I also know there are lots of different paces of people, including me, can go when dating. It's what I'm starting to feel as an expectation of nook nook on the third date that's getting to me. I am so shocked that you are in the 35 to 41 age group and you don't know that. Madam, that is typically, that's like the day that intimacy happens. My problem with your dating pattern is that you let okay, by having all these happy hour drinks where alcohol is involved and then a walk. What the kind of fucking date is that? You too old for that. That's what people broke kids in college and high school do. That's not what adult women on the, somewhere in the 35 to 41 age, because I don't know where you are in that range. So it could be you not 40 yet, could be you just already 40, about to be 41, whatever. But anyway, it doesn't matter because this is low effort dating. So if you let a man get away with this, now I'm a firm believer the first date should be like 20 minutes, 30 minutes at all, because most people meet each other on these app things. You lay eyes on each other. You make sure it's something that you would want to go on a date with, that his conversation is, sane, that he's like groomed and clean and looks normal and, stuff like that. That's what that date is for. Just to like, you got along on the phone or whatever, and now you want to lay eyes on him and have a little conversation to see if it should go to another date, to like a real date where you like get dressed up and do your hair and do all the stuff. Okay. I'm not a fan of wasting time on dates, having these long, lingering dinners and stuff. All these broke bras trying to get fed. I'm not doing that. My hourly rate that I charge for stuff is way too high to spend an hour doing some shit like that. I'm not gonna do it. You get 20 minutes, 30 if the conversation's good. But then I'm gonna do something. I got other stuff to do. So this, like, I don't think drinks and happy hours and stuff is a good date unless you already know you're really not feeling them. Because I'll tell you, I could put down some alcohol. I'll be like, Garcon, bring me too. But in general, this is low effort dating, and it sets the things, sets the stage for the guy to think that he's gonna get some booty. So don't accept these kind of dates after the first one, maybe the first one. And then after that, you say, look, this, I'm not going to be getting drunk with you every date. This is not the way that I want to try to get to know somebody because you try to set some shit up so that you can have me over for the third date and think that I'm going to be on the menu. That's not happening, Captain. So, you got to change your approach in Fargo, North Dakota to how you handle men, and then you will get better results. Because these dudes with this kind of stuff here, they on some bullshit. Who's gonna take somebody? I wish somebody would tell me they're gonna take me on a walk after a date. Clown, I go to the gym. I'm not trying to walk in no goddamn high heels and while I'm trying to look cute, have me sweating my hair out and all this other stuff. You good. Question number two. This is a female, 22 to 27 from Chicago, Illinois. Summary of issue. How do I tell my mom that she and my little brother cannot stay with me? Hi, ladies of the squad. Hi, Deb. My mom, put these papers. My mom moved back to our home country in 2022 and visits me in the U.S. twice a year. Each visit lasts about a month and a half. Usually she comes alone around February and with my little brother in the summer when he's out of school. My little brother's father also lives in the same area. He lives in the suburbs and we live in the city, which is about 40 minutes away from him. My mom and little brother will be coming to visit at the end of the month. As bad as this might sound, I do not want them both staying with me. I am fine with my mom staying with me by herself, but not when my little brother visits too. The ideal arrangement would be for my little brother to stay with his dad, and my mom can either stay there too or stay with me. There are a few reasons for this. Number one, I live in a small one-bedroom apartment in an upstairs unit of a duplex. The walls are very thin. It's open concept too, so there's not much separation between the living and dining room and kitchen. My little brother is very, very, and she put very, like in caps, hyper and usually runs all around all the time and looks for ways to entertain himself, which can be super distracting. Number two, I also work from home 4 or 5 days in the week. I cannot handle having two people in my tiny apartment. Number three, I am a homebody. I like my space. I already feel a little tense when it's just my mom, and I can't imagine working with a 5-year-old running around screaming and singing, etc. Number four, my little brother's father lives in a very spacious two-bedroom apartment. The complex is in the suburbs, so it's very kid-friendly. There are parks, playgrounds, open spaces, etc., all around it. I'd appreciate advice on how I can communicate that my little brother cannot stay with me. I love them a lot. I really genuinely do. I just don't want to share a living space with them both when his dad has a better arrangement. I'm looking for ways to communicate this kindly because there is a lot of room for her to take it very personally. I wouldn't give a fuck. See, that's the difference between you and me. Because my house, I don't come up in here with no drama. I've tossed friends out with when I didn't like the behavior of their kids and I didn't like how they, you know, failed to parent them appropriately in someone else's residence. You know, I you all need to get yourself and get out, is what I say. And they be like, why? I said, because your kid is bad, and I don't want that little motherfucker breaking my stuff. And you just sitting there with your legs crossed, drinking coffee and stuff, like you don't see this. So all y'all get out. I threw my own sister, well, she's my half sister, and her two kids out, and her little raggedy husband that she's now divorced from. Tossed all the motherfuckers out my house. Get out. You don't know how to act, and you don't know how to watch your kids. So y'all can't stay here. And so to me, this is a non-issue. All you have to he's supposed to be there to see his daddy, right? So he goes to his father's, and like you said, your mother could stay with you for maybe one day, and then the rest of the time she need to be over there with her man and her baby daddy and her kid. I mean, I don't know why you're struggling to say this. How would I do this? I would just say, Mom, I need to work. My place is too small and your kid is too noisy. Y'all can't stay here. So you need to go make arrangements with the baby daddy and y'all need to stay over there. We can hook up one day. I'll take you guys to lunch or something. But y'all ain't coming over here with all that racket. And when you come by yourself, you could come. But really, a month and a half at somebody's house is too long. I don't even understand why she need to stay that long. Hey, goddess. Yeah, I'm here at this weird time of day, but people can catch the video later. Question number three. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Arlington, Virginia. Summary issue. I'm upset about my sister-in-law stealing a baby name from me. Oh my God, my sister-in-law did that to her own sister. I was so through. I had texted the address of the shelter. Yeah, I don't even do that. That's very nice. I don't do nothing. I don't say nothing. Don't care. You can live in a pup tent in the park. Not my problem. Okay, so she says, Deb, ever since I was 12, I've had a baby name picked out first and a middle. This name is not common and includes part of my name and my grandfather's name. I met my husband and his family about 5 years ago. He loved the name when I first told him about it. This name has come up before in conversation, and the entire family, including extended family, knows that this is a name that we will use if we ever have a baby girl. We recently married and are not planning on having children for a few more years. His brother and sister-in-law are actively trying. I've known a few of the girl names that she likes, and none of them even closely resemble the same vibe as this one. My sister-in-law, in a group conversation, recently said that this is now a name that's on their list. I laughed it off, and a family member mentioned that this is a name that I've always had picked out. She gave me a kind of smug look about it, and that was it. My mother-in-law brought it up again recently and said that they are planning on using this name if they have a girl. I understand I do not own the name. I think I'm just upset because if I were her, I would pick a different name if I had known that she had loved this one. If it was anyone else in the family, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But since the family relation is so close, that's where I'm having an issue. What do I do in this situation, especially considering I'm not even pregnant yet? Nothing. There's nothing you can do. But it's a good lesson for you to keep your mouth shut. So you shouldn't be telling everybody. That's the kind of thing I tell you, like, when we was getting ready to name our daughter, well, actually, people were giving us suggestions. We didn't ask, and they was giving us suggestions. Even my boss at the law firm, his name was Patrick, and he suggested the name Patricia. I said, "Why would I name my child?" I mean, it was funny. It went through the office. It was hilarious. It's like, why would I name my daughter any kind of derivation? You know what I'm trying to say of your name? Why would I do that? And he just thought that was just the best thing, ever. I was like, "You clown, you need to get ready to have your own kids." But yeah, stuff. And so then we finally picked a name. We didn't tell nobody. Good thing we didn't, because when she came out, her personality did not fit that name at all. I mean, she came out, she was boxing the nurses, kicking people in the face. I mean, just like a savage. And so we looked at that little list of little feminine girly names, and we were like, "Oh." So she was 10 days old before she got to the hospital, kept calling, like, "What are you guys going to name this child?" And so finally, you know, we gave him a name because she was just baby for the longest. I never told her that. She'd probably be mad, but we couldn't think of anything that would really fit her. But we finally did. Po child. So if I were you, you know, there's really nothing you can do. You're not even pregnant. You're not even planning to get pregnant. She's not pregnant either. And there's always a possibility that she's gonna get pregnant and she'll have a boy. So don't worry about it. Like you said, you don't own the name. If you guys get pregnant and you have a girl, then you name it that. It's the possibility that you could have a boy too. So if you pick some boy names or any other girl names, shut up. Don't even tell your husband. Because, I don't know where, yeah, you in Arlington, okay? In the United States, the mother signs the birth certificate and the mother names the child. The father can sign it, but then you don't have to. So, yeah, you don't need to tell nobody what name you picked for your baby that you carry for 9 months. hmm I mean, people pick up, names from all kind of places. Someone naming kids after movie stars or whatever. And, I remember when I was younger, there was a TV show on called Dallas. And I forgot what that character's name was, but for a minute there, the show was it was ridiculous. I mean, everybody watched that show except me. And so people were naming their kids rather, after the characters in that show. And then remember when Kunta Kinte came out, Roots, people started naming their daughters Kizzy. I mean, so people get inspired to do dumb shit sometimes. And sometimes, it's an honor of a relative or someone who's very meaningful in your life, who made an impact on your life, changed your life. So for you to name your child after them is a great honor for those people. And so, it just depends. So for you, give this some thought. I'm sure you can come up with something else that's equally important to you. And that's great. I mean, switch some letters around or something. Do something, but don't be mad about this. It's not gonna, you can't, it's outside your control. Okay. Don't waste your time. Question number 4. We have 26 questions today for those of you who are wondering. This is a young lady, 22 to 27, from Dearborn, Michigan. Summary of issue. Was I wrong for making my boyfriend leave our house after he slapped my cat? Wait, what? He did what? Whoa. I need some perspective on this. I am 27 and I live with my boyfriend who is 29 for the last 2 years. We've always had a pretty good relationship. But last night I caught him slapping my cat. It's a 5-year-old tabby that I had since she was a kitten because she scratched him while they were playing. He said it was a reflex and didn't mean to hurt her, but she's been hiding all day and I'm furious. Oh boy. Deb, I told him to leave for the night to cool off, and now he's texting me saying I overreacted and he's sorry. I love him, but I can't stand anyone hurting my pet, even accidentally. Am I wrong for kicking him out? Should I let him back or set some boundaries? I really don't know how to handle this. He's never done this before that you know of. And the cat's okay, just scared to come out and play, and it's heartbreaking to me. Yeah, your cat is traumatized because she trusted him enough to play with him, and then he hurt her. So now she's like, well, I don't think I can trust him anymore. And for you, your pet mommy, this is just like a kid to you. You let some clown come to my house and hurt my daughter while he's, quote, playing with her. I will, y'all would have been in jail. I'm telling you, prison, life sentence, all that kind of stuff would happen because that's one thing you're not going to do. Okay, you're not going to do that. So for you to sit there and think, to even ask me if you should let him come back into the environment where you've had this cat since she was a kitten, that's your baby. That cat depends on you just like a child depends on his mother. So for me, this is a non-issue. This guy would be like fired because there's no coming back from something like that. If they feel like they can get away with it one time, he's going to start doing things to your cat. Maybe not to where you can see him, but he'll start doing stuff to the cat, poking it with stuff, pinching it, throwing it. All kind of stuff will happen. So you keep him away from your house, away from you, and away from your cat. When someone someone abuses an animal, that is a psychotic motherfucker. You keep him away from your cat. Keep him away from you in this relationship immediately. His mentality is wrong. Who would think to slap an animal? Who does that? Girl, if you don't get your shit together and have some strong boundaries in your life, you're supposed to protect what's yours. This shouldn't even have been a question. You should have been writing to tell me how you kicked his ass out and fired him immediately and then posted what he did all over social media because I would have to clown. Question number 5. This is a female in the 38 to 24 age group from St. Helens, England. Oh, I wonder where that is. Sorry, an issue. My friend wants me to look after her child for 4 days. Is she paying? A friend has asked me to look after their 19-month-old son for 4 days and 3 nights in October while they go to a work event abroad. So her and her partner working. Okay, wait, she's not even going to be in the country, and you're going to have total responsibility for her 19-month-old. Do you know how active 19-month-old kids are? How much shit they can get into? And then, I mean, okay, let's finish reading this. I really, really don't want to do this. She called me on the hop, asking me, and I just stumbled over my words and ended up agreeing. I will have to take time off from my job, eating into my precious annual leave, as even though the child will be in nursery, they are only in from 10 to 4, and my day, including my commute, is 8 to 6. They made out like they're doing me a favor by telling me that I won't need to have their older daughter as well as they have sorted that child care. This friend has a way of bulldozing people into doing things for them. Please help me formulate something to say back out of this. I'm a people pleaser and know I need to grow a pair, but right now I need help getting out of this. Um, you need to say, you know, I know that I initially agreed, but upon further consideration, this is too much responsibility for someone. I'm not a family member. I'm not related to this child in any way. I don't have any kind of legal documentation to have custody of this child, and you won't even be in the country. I'm not going to do it. It's too much. And she's gonna say, "But why? You already agreed this." And I say, "Yeah, well, you have a way of, as you just said, bulldozing people into doing what you want. And I'm telling you right now, don't bring your kid here. If you bring your kid here and try to drop it off, I'm gonna call Child Protective Services, and you can pick up your kid from the police when you get back. That's how that's gonna go." And so then she will be like, "Oh, I guess she's serious," and she will make other arrangements. There should be no reason why you're doing someone a favor and it costs you money. If anything, they should reimburse you by paying you for the time that you'll miss from your job. They didn't even offer to do that. So, you would be a sucker if you fell for this. I don't even know what else to say. But you better please yourself. You talking about you're a people please. You better please yourself. My wallet would not be taking no hit like that. I'm sorry. Not doing it. Question number 6. This is a young man, 22 to 27, from Durham, North Carolina. So I'm at issue. I refused to babysit my sister's kid, even though I was, quote, just at home, end quote, and now she's pissed. So, babysitting questions here. So last weekend, my older sister, she's 30 and I'm 23, called me out of nowhere, asked if I could watch her 4-year-old, quote, for a couple of hours because she had to run errands. I was literally in the middle of relaxing after a super stressful week at work, and honestly, I just wanted some me time. I told her, sorry, not today. And she got really upset, saying that I was selfish and that family helps family. She even threw in that I don't have kids, so I don't understand how exhausting it is for her. Okay, let me finish. Here's the thing. I babysit for her plenty of times before, sometimes even last minute, and I never complained. But this time I just didn't want to, and I feel like that should be okay. Now, my parents are saying I should have sucked it up because it was just one afternoon, and my sister needed a break. My sister still giving me the cold shoulder, saying I don't support her. Is it true that I can't say no when I was just at home doing nothing, and my sister wanted me to watch her kid? No, it's not. Your time is your time. And so you know, I know you don't want to do this because you're trying to be polite, but I would have told my parents and my sister, you the one that's laid up there and made that damn baby. So anything associated with it is your problem. Now I might on sometimes when I feel like it watch your kid, but I'm not obligated to because I'm not that motherfucker's daddy. Now you had a problem by some dust bucket that don't want to watch his kid, that's on you. Next time choose better. And I went in my room and slammed the door. Yeah, but see, that's why he need to remind her. And the reminder that that's her problem. You the one chose to have that shit instead of getting a termination. So don't be trying to guilt trip me into it because you made a stupid decision. If you want to have all this free fucking time and run around and get your nails done and do all these errands and shit, you should have used birth control. That's why so many women don't have kids because they want to do stuff like that. And they're not going to burden other people with watching they spawn messed up spawn to while they try to live a life of a single woman. You pick one. You chose to have a kid, so you the mama. It's your job, not mine. And like I said, I would have went in my door, and everybody would sit there with the Pikachu face because everything that you would have said is an actual fact. But usually people who are in the world besides that's not named Deborah Cooper are more polite and genteel. And my mother used to say tactful. I didn't get that gene. My mother spent so many years trying to teach me tact. It never took. It didn't work. It's my personality. It's how I came out from the womb, talking shit and just reading people. And so it is what it is. But that's what she would have got from me. So don't be thinking I'm gonna do shit with your kid. You better go take it off to that goddamn fucker that you had that kid by. That's the only one who's gonna be watching it. It's not gonna be me. So there. Leandra, girl, you know it's true. I told y'all the story. I was only 4. Had just made that. It was summertime. My birthday's in August. And my aunt was a teenager at the time. She's kind of, she fluffy, let's put it that way. She's always been a big girl. And they said I was looking at her all kind of like crazy, because people in the family, well, they're starting to die off, but the older one, they remember this. And they said I was looking at her and she walked up and down the hall. I'm looking at her and looking at her. And by the time she came back to last time, I said, you need to go take a bath because you stink. And just said this so matter of fact, not mean, just stating a fact. And they said everybody was laughing and looking. She looked at me and then she went and took a bath. But like I said, it is what it is. And it's not like I lied. That's the same problem I get into when I have jobs. Directors and managers be calling me in there. You can't say stuff like that to people. Why not? Did I lie? Well, no, you didn't lie, but we try to do this and that. I said, well, that you talking about that don't include me, because I don't do that. If somebody's getting on my nerves, I'm gonna tell them about themselves. I'm gonna tell them to stop and don't do that, and you better not do that again, and stuff like that. And they just be looking at you because it's not like I broke any rules. It's not they can write you up about, or fire you or anything like that. I mean, somebody's hurt feelings is not my responsibility. Because if you didn't want your feelings hurt, you shouldn't have done what you did, or you shouldn't have talked to me that way. And so if I turn around and I fire back and rip you a new one, don't say nothing, because don't start none, won't be none. So yeah, I've gotten it. I can't even tell y'all how many times I've gotten in trouble with me be starting. I mean, just slaying folks. So let's move on. This is number 7, question 7 of 26. This young lady is 35 to 41 from Nottingham in the UK. Summary issue: my partner of 10 years has been ignoring me in front of his family, and his siblings ignore me too. Okay, so why are you still there? More specifically, when we're hanging out, just me, him, and his brother. It's strange because my partner is the one who will offer me a ride with his brother after I finish work, or if they're going to get food or something. When I do see them, it's only towards the end where they pick me up when I'm in the area. Every time we're in the car and I say something, I get ignored. Or they will ask a follow-up question, and when I speak, I don't get to finish my story. Or I'll make a joke and get an awkward laughter. There have been way too many times where I'll say something I don't get to finish or I'm brushed off. I don't know why my partner invited me to hang out with his siblings when they treat me so awkwardly. It's not just with his brother, it's with his sister too. I don't know what my partner's telling his siblings behind my back. They've always been a little awkward towards me. It's just gotten worse lately. It really hurts and I don't know what to do. I've noticed this has been happening since I went through my partner's phone and called him messaging escorts. Oh, and you still there? Girl, something wrong with you. My partner and I haven't had Nook Nook in several years, even though we are only in our late 30s. Yet he doesn't want to break up with me. Deb, do you think that someone who loves me would actually treat me like this? The problem here isn't that he doesn't love you, it's that you don't love yourself. There's no way in the world that, like that's naked. Yeah, girl, that's my twin. You, why would you let somebody treat you like this, though? When I was just talking about how I do people at work, you know how you got them Zoom meetings, everybody on the camera, and everybody, you know, looking at each other and stuff, especially during COVID. And so, I had these meetings, right? Because I do a lot of contract work. So I'm there, then I'm gone, and I'm on to the next one. Or something. But while I'm there, I'm considered, a consultant. So I'm, interact with the staff a lot. So in these meetings, and in every situation, every company, there's at least one person who thinks that they, are the most important, that what they have to say is the most important, everyone must listen, that what they think is the only way that it should be, et cetera, et cetera. You get my drift. Okay, so now I'm getting paid like ridiculous amounts of money to give my opinion about different things, right? So I'm in a meeting and I'm supposed to be, making this presentation. This person will, keep chiming in. Typically, I would say, okay, first time I just stop and I let them talk. And then I say, "Are you done yet?" "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Excuse me, excuse me." They always, make the proper noises. And so then I say, "Okay." So then I start back up. Well, let me continue. And I'm very professional because, they pay me. I'm very professional until they do it the second time. That's when the hood rat comes out and I say, "Excuse me." Like, at one time I saw a video and I was doing like, I was like, "Excuse me." Like black woman hand clap. That it just came out. I didn't even think about it. And she stopped it. She's looking at me. I said, "I need you to stop talking. I have the floor right now. The meeting is over in 20 minutes, and I still have to finish my presentation. Whatever it is that you want to say, you can say it after I'm done, or you can say it in another meeting, or you can send an email. Whatever you want to do. But right now, I want to continue this, and I don't want to be interrupted again. Do you understand me? Just like that, just like I'm talking to my kid. And folks be getting red because they not used to no black woman talking to them like that. You think I give a fuck? It's like, bitch, if you had it all together, I wouldn't need to be here. They would need somebody to come in from the outside and get the shit straight that you done fucked up. And now all of a sudden you got all these fucking opinions. See, that's what I really want to say, but I can't say that. So I just, try to be polite. Yeah, I be struggling. Y'all, I be struggling. But, it gets their attention. And then usually the managers, directors, whoever who brought me in says, "That's right. That's, her time is valuable. We're wasting a lot of her time. We need, this is billable. These are billable hours here. So, let's continue the presentation uninterrupted." And then they pipe down. But, the looks, because, everybody's on camera. So you can see them expressions. You think I give a shit? I'm like, look, you just add to my wallet. I really don't care, but this person who hired me, brought me in here, cares. And so let's do this the right way. But yeah, I have to do that a lot. I don't know what it is about you gray folks like to think that what you got to say is more important than what everybody else is saying. And you can't help but think that it's a race thing because usually, you look at all the face, I'm the only black one, but I'm the one coming in that they had to hire because y'all didn't know what the fuck you was doing. So yeah, you might think that I don't have that perspective that you're superior in some way, but obviously not because then I wouldn't need to be here. So let's do a reality check. Get your tongue in order and shut the fuck up. Okay, just sit down and set up somewhere. Yeah, it's been interesting. You get old, you just really don't care. I can't wait till I turn 80 so I can start ripping people just like with impunity. It's just gonna be lovely. I can't wait. Let's move on to question number 8. Female 28 to 34 from Bourne. Okay, wait. Bournemouth, Dorset, Southwest in the UK. Summer issue. My partner doesn't like my haircut. I've been with my partner for a very long time. I've always had hair halfway down my back until last year. I saw a photo of my hair from behind and it looked so ratty, I chopped it off to my shoulders to help it grow better. My partner chucked a big tanty. I guess that means he threw a tantrum. This UK lingo saying I'm not in a relationship with a boy and oh, it doesn't matter what I like. My hair seems to grow unevenly, so I've been getting trims, nothing on, but it's taking a long time for it to grow longer. Anyways, what are your thoughts? Should he have a say in how I have my hair? I do kind of get it because he's the one looking at me, but at the same time, I'm like, what the fuck? This is my hair. I'll do what I like with it. It's not like I have gone and shaved my head or got a pixie cut. This is not the first time this issue has come up either. Okay, so your man got a hair fetish? Is that what's going on here? But see, the thing is, when he says, I'm not in a relationship with a boy, you're supposed to say, well, you don't have to be in a relationship with me either, because you keep up with this kind of stuff. What's on my body, anything that's on this body, don't have shit to do with you. You are by the graces of my good blessings, even here. So anything that you don't like that I do with my body, including my hair, my makeup, my clothes, my figure, my toes, anything else is about me making the decision for myself. Anytime you don't like it, pack your shit and get the fuck out. That's what you were supposed to tell him that instant when he started complaining. You do what you want to do with your hair. Okay, if you want to come in there and have rainbow bright colors in your hair, you do that. That was a style a little not too long ago in the 90s, I guess, early 2000s. People in San Francisco was walking around with like rainbow hair. I wouldn't have done it, but some people look cute. So yeah, you think about that. Question number 9. This is a female in the 20 to 34 age group from Las Cruces, New Mexico. Summary of issue. My boyfriend's kindness is making me lose my marbles. I feel like my boyfriend loves helping other people, and it's becoming an issue. We are both 29, have been together for 2 years, and it's starting to feel like all the kindness and compassion he used to show me is now reserved for his friends, his family, and total strangers. If I ask for help with something, it's like pulling teeth. Total nightmare. Takes days, weeks, months, to the point where I just do it myself, and I've largely stopped asking for help with things. Okay, so when you going to understand that your relationship is over? But if seemingly anyone else asks him for something, he flies out the door. It's starting to feel like he's done proving his kindness to me and needs to keep proving it to other people. Does that make any sense? This has all come to a head for me because I went to a mutual friend's party last night, and as we were on our way out, a man who is a total stranger to us asked if we could give him a ride home. He wasn't drunk, he just come in his own car. Normally, I would say yes, but I got a bad sense about this guy. And since I was driving and it was my car, I said no, sorry. My boyfriend flashed me a look of rage, and sure enough, we got in the car. He was angry with me for telling the guy no. He told me I was really rude and made him look bad in front of his friends. I'll admit it probably would have been perfectly safe and fine rather to give this guy a ride home. But as I explained to my boyfriend, I just got a bad gut feeling, and I didn't feel bad saying no because there was no risk the guy would be drunk driving. Anyway, it made me realize that he does this kind of thing all the time. It's like we're not allowed to say no when someone asks for something. And I end up looking like the spoil sport and the bad guy. I thought about this in connection with this weird need to help everyone but me. And I now feel desperate to figure this out. If I can, rather. I love my boyfriend, but lately I don't know how he makes me feel. Past efforts to communicate with him about the issue have ended in him huffing about how I'm just jealous that he has more friends than I do. Definitely not the case, lol. And that I must be a selfish person to try to make him feel bad about being a kind, helpful person. But I'm not trying to make him feel bad. How can I communicate the issue effectively so that my frustration is clear and I don't make him feel like I'm trying to infringe on his life and his friendships? Your advice is appreciated. You tell your boyfriend, you know what? So we sitting there driving in my car with a complete stranger in the back seat, and he reaches around and cuts your throat and then takes me out, has me to drive him to some woodsy area, and then I'm found in a shallow grave. That's the kind of vibe I was getting from this dude. Now, if you didn't like that, you could have stayed and rode in a cab with him. But I'm leaving, and he ain't getting in my car because it's my car. I pay for everything in this bitch, and luckily I let you be in it. Because you keep talking, and your ass would have been walking home. See, that's how I roll. I'm not. You're not gonna tell me nothing about my stuff. You know, you in the passenger seat, scrub. You need to shut up. So I would say stuff like that to him. Now, as far as him refusing to provide you with assistance, why are you in a relationship where you're doing everything by yourself and calling yourself in a relationship? A partnership is about you two supporting and helping each other. If everything is going one way, then you should understand that this relationship is over. So cut it off. Tell him to, this is over. I'm not going to be in a situation where I'm just giving, 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 and no one is giving to me. You want to give to everybody else, so that's who you need to be over there sleeping with, and that's who you need to be over there living with, not me. And then you kick his ass out. I don't understand what this is a problem. Yeah, that is what he wants to do, but then stop asking. But then that puts her in a position where she's doing it all. So if you're doing it all, then why do you need him? And that's the question you should ask him. What is it that I'm getting out of this relationship with you when you don't do shit? So since you ain't doing shit, get out. It'll be just the same whether you're here or not. For me, it's going to be the same. That's what I would say to the young lad. But you ain't me. Question number 10 of 26 questions. We got 26 questions on this Labor Day. That's been at noon. This is a young man, 28 to 34, from Ottawa, Canada. Summary of issue. What is masculinity? Oh, boy. I know you were not asking me something like this philosophical question. I recently went on a date with a girl, and we did talk a bit about the last guy she was dating. She mentioned that she really liked his masculinity. The date was fine. And as I was driving back home, I started to wonder, what is real masculinity? I came to the conclusion that it's not being tall or having a six pack. It's not about having six-digit income or even lasting forever in bed. It's not even about how you treat her. It's just two words, walking away. It's having the power to walk away when you are hurt or being disrespected or being taken for granted. It is the most difficult thing to do, but again, nothing worthy is ever easy. Do you agree? No, you stupid. That's not masculinity. Masculinity is the opposite of femininity. So you know how girls are all dainty and doing all this shit and have curls in their hair and wear makeup and talk in a soft, girly voice and stuff. Okay, those are things that are associated with femininity, like stereotypical femininity. And then you look at what masculinity is. To me, masculinity is being strong, and I don't mean just physically. I mean mentally and emotionally. So when you have some guy who's throwing tantrums, fits, whining, complains all the goddamn time, he's not masculine, he's a little bitch. Okay, when you have a man who's masculine, he's confident. He radiates confidence. He's decisive. Even if he doesn't know what he's talking about, he has the confidence in himself to say, I'm not really sure, but I'll look into that. I'll get back to you. He's not his ego's not impacted because he doesn't know everything. Nobody in this goddamn world knows everything. And he's not about pretending like he does. Okay, that's masculinity. Masculinity is like I don't know. Sometimes the deep voice and the way they look at you. I mean, they don't even have to really say anything, but it's just the way their presence, how they conduct themselves. It just spells man. It's like, they when they walk, their head's not down, their shoulders up, their head is held high, their chest is lifted up. They look people in the eye. They shake your hand with confidence and strength. They seem genuinely happy to meet you. Those are things that I associate with masculinity. It's a turn on for women when men project masculinity. But you see these guys these days, they cry and bitch and whine online and stuff. They're like little girls with weenies. And I'm not trying to insult little girls. I'm just saying there should be a difference between a baby girl and adult male. And there just really don't seem to be. They act like a kid. That's not masculine. And then they wonder why they can't get no woman. Or they have to go to some foreign country and pay somebody and support her whole family to get a woman. Not masculine at all. It doesn't hurt if you have a six pack and some buff though. That even adds to it. That's like having a masculinity cake with extra masculinity on the ice cream for the icing. That's like done hit the masculinity jackpot. That's it, Leandra. Is that what it is for you? Okay, let's move on. That's my explanation. But still having self-control is part of it, but it's not necessarily walking away. Your self-control could be like you're standing up for yourself. You have the confidence to check folks. And then if they get out of pocket, you either punch them in the face, shoot them, or you slap them with a lawsuit. Either way, you're not going to let somebody just punk you. Okay. It's not walking away all the time. That's cowardly in most instances. But if you feel like you're in a situation or you about to, hurt a woman or a kid or something like that, yeah, then walk your ass away from that situation. Question number 11. This is a female, 22 to 27, from Eastwood, East Midlands in the UK. It's not an issue. My boyfriend has borrowed money from me, and quite honestly, I don't think I'll ever see it back. No, you won't, because you didn't make him sign anything. See, you girls that just give men money without making them sign a promissory note. Take it down and get it notarized. Make sure that you have the information. You should always, when you're dating somebody, you're dating a dude, if you're gonna start giving him money, make sure you have his social security number. Well, you in the UK, I don't know what they have over there, but here in the United States, we have social security numbers. You know why you want that? So because when you have to file your claim, you get to go and you get somebody to search where that person's working by their social security number, and then you file a lien on their paycheck and you garnish their wages to get your money back. You also file the claim with the state that they live in. So if they get any kind of income tax return, your money comes out of it first. You see how I'm going with this? If they try to sell a house and they have money in escrow, oh look, there's a lien against you, and so they pay that first before you get your money from the escrow by selling your property. So see, ladies, you gotta handle your shit like a savage. You gotta handle your shit like a business. You don't just give men money. I don't even care who it is. Maybe my brother, I might, but nobody else. Any man I'm just dating. I mean, we just like two strangers screwing? Ah, no. You want something from me, you gonna sign your life away for it. And I want some collateral, like your pink slip. I want something to hold for so I can make sure I get my money. So let's see what you did. So over a year ago, my boyfriend asked if I could lend him $500 for his credit card payment, and he told me he would pay me back immediately. Well, it's a year and 4 months now, and he's only mentioned it to me once about 6 months ago how he has forgot about paying me. Okay, I tell him there's no rush about what you do that for. A couple of more months passed by, and we were going to some music park. He asked me if I have a couple of bucks on me because he wants to get a drawn, oh, I think she means drawing, one of those goofy artists that draw you over exaggerated, but by himself, not me in it. I feel so weirded out. And he tells me, oh, it's just going to be too much if it's for both. Immediately, I feel off. And at this point, I don't even want to get a drawing. I just give him the money. It's $30. He tells me he'll pay me back when we get home. Well, now months have passed and he didn't ever mention it. In my mind, I'm like, okay, it's just $30. What am I fussing about? Let it go. However, recently he wanted, we wanted, he invited me to go to this event. Upon paying, he asked if I had around $100, I was already annoyed, but I gave in and gave it to him because I wanted to go. And then again, I'll pay you back the next day. Okay, how many times you need to get your head bumped before you realize this guy's just pimping you? You stupid. A couple of days had passed by and he doesn't even mention anything about it. It's me that brings it up. And he tells me, "Oh, I'll pay you back, don't worry." And he hits you with the let you want to pay for it. Mind you, it was $80. I'm saving up for a concert that I would like to buy us tickets for, but now I'm not so sure. I roll my eyes through the call because I feel weirded out and annoyed. I hate bringing it up because I feel like I'm being pushy. However, I'm not one to judge how one spends their money, to each their own. But how am I supposed to feel when I see him constantly spending money on things for himself that he really does not need? He is not paying me back. I can't keep on bringing it up over and over because then I feel like a loan shark. None of the times I have lended him money have I seen it back. Right, but you keep giving him more. It's like there is no self-discipline with him. How are you not responsible enough to at least stash a couple of bucks every week or so to pay me back? Why is it up to me that has to bring it up to you? And she's whining on and on. This man has on some occasion we go to the store, I would just last minute need something and he would offer to pay for it, but he was like, but you can pay me back. It was like $5. My mood dropped and I didn't need or want it anymore. I'm not pointing out this guy is bad or stern with his money, but why is this man telling me this? Because you believe it. I appreciate everything he has paid for me, but sincerely, but it's based recently where I'm just saddened by the fact that when I think about this, I can't keep on constantly bringing it up on, well, when will I see my money back? I know it's my money and I can ask for it, but there's a limit when you know the person does not want to pay you back, it being your boyfriend. Okay, I'm going to say this one more time. Boyfriend don't mean shit. Boyfriend is merely who the dude is that you decide that you're going to screw for right now. That's all a boyfriend is. I don't understand why you girls keep treating your boyfriends like their husbands and y'all have community property. Like you a married couple, whose wallet the bill comes out of or whose credit card it goes on is don't mean nothing because the payments for those are coming out of the single pot. Yeah, she ain't gonna never see that money. She just goofy. You owe me some money. You owe me $500, and you ask me for something else. I'll be like, when you give me my $500 back, then you could ask me for something else. Until then, don't ask me for shit. That's what he would have got from me. But see, no, let me tell you how to. Okay, I have to confess a sin. I used to live with this dude when I was in college. That was a mistake. Never again. But something happened. What did he do? Oh, I remember now. Well, I didn't find out until later, but he was starting to, use D's. I didn't know this at the time though. But my grandmother had given me this little gold wedding band thing. It was like filigree and everything. It was really pretty and wasn't necessarily the most valuable thing, but it had sentimental value. And so I'm looking for it one day and I noticed that it was gone. And it just so happened I was doing laundry and saw a pawn ticket. He had pawned my grandmother's ring. I'm like, okay. So I went and I ripped a check out of the back of his checkbook and I wrote to his bank and I do, I could write his signature for $100 and I took my $100. I went to the pawn shop and got the ring back. And so he was like, wow, some of my money's missing. I'm gonna go to the bank and see what happened. Of course, they're like, well, you cash this check and stuff. So he come back and he's mad now. I said, well, okay, this is how this went. You stole my ring, and to get my ring back, I went and paid the money to get my ring back. So you thought you was gonna come up on me? That shit not gonna happen. So he was so mad he told his parents and his mother just slapped him. Said you shouldn't have been taking somebody's stuff. It wasn't yours. So, after anyway, we ended up breaking up. That was when I told you about he was like hanging on my leg when I was trying to go out the door and begging and plead for me not to leave his trifling two-bit piece of shit ass. I couldn't get out of there fast enough. Yeah, that's what I did. It's like, oh, Deborah, you don't do that to me. And my cousin who stole my outfit, I went to the house where she was staying with one of our other cousins, and I took everything in her room because she had that outfit on when I went to get it. It was brand new too. She came to my house and she stole my shit. So I went to where she was staying looking for it, right? Then they said, oh yeah, what did it look like? She left and she was wearing it. So I got some hefty bags, Girl, I'm telling you, being hefty, I should have stock in that company. I got some hefty trash bags. Everything that little bitch had in that room went in them bags. And my cousin, her kids was too scared to do anything because they could see I was livid that you thought you're gonna have the gall to steal from me. I stripped that room bare. That bitch didn't have shit to wear. She was gonna have to remember to wear the same funky panties and everything else. I took everything and put it in the back of my trunk. Just tied the, you could tie the thing. I flung them over the stairs. They lived upstairs, and put that shit in my trunk and drove the fuck back to Oakland. And she was like, "Oh," came in looking to see that strip, and they couldn't wait to tell her what happened. And so then she's like, "Well, I'll give it back." I'm like, "No, I don't want that shit back now. I don't want it back because your funky ass done wore it. What you're gonna do though is give me the money to buy me a new one. That's what you're gonna do. If you want this shit back, that's what you're gonna do." It was only about $40 something, but it's the principle. So she got her friend to drive her to Oakland. She gave me my cash, and they loaded her shit in the car, and then that was that. Said, "Don't you ever bring your black ass to my house again. Oh, bitch, I'll beat your ass." And so, that's how I anyway, my you're not taking my stuff. You're not stealing from me. You're not gonna try to get off with my money. You're not gonna do nothing that belongs to me. I have very strict boundaries in that regard. And so yeah. Yeah, she's scared of me to this day. And she probably outweighs me by at least 500 pounds. A big ass buffalo girl. But at the time she was just normal. But yeah, I'm like, I took all her shit. She didn't even have a pair of socks. She didn't have shit in that room. Nothing. A pillow, the blanket. I left all that because that was the cousin whose house she was staying at. That was her stuff. So I left that. But everything, all that thing that was her personal stuff, I took everything. Even her deodorant. I took every goddamn thing. Toothbrush, to everything. I wiped that room clean. Yeah, I don't even know what made me do that, where that came from. But that was some savage shit even later. I was thinking about like, wow, I would mess with you. If I was me, I would mess with me. That's all I'm gonna say. Question number 12 of 26, female, 28 to 34. She's from Toronto, Canada. Some issue. Online dating is awful. I am 28 and I thought I found a great guy, he's 30, to start a connection with. Chemistry was insane. The attraction was mutual, very respectful, just all around fantastic. I started to get curious as to why he hadn't added me on Snapchat. He also told me that he was moving, so he had been sleeping on his couch. When I went over, I noticed no boxes. So the last time I paid him a visit, I checked in the shower. Boom. Aussie hair conditioner, shampoo, and L'Oreal hair products. I immediately left. Wait, I immediately left, but not upset. He sent me a good morning text, but I ghosted him after that. It's clear he has a girlfriend and want to have a full-blown side piece relationship as well. I don't understand cheating. I never will. I left my earring for her to find, hoping it will tip her off. Are there any loyal men out there? Like seriously, if it's not online cheating, it's real life cheating, and most time it's both. I'm exhausted. Well, do y'all have any? I don't have nothing. I mean, from my experience, unless a guy is afraid of losing you, I mean, to the point where the thought of other women pales in comparison to his fear of him trying to live his life without looking at you, then they will cheat. That means to me that no matter how much they say that they love you, their idea of love and yours are vastly different. There's a lack of respect. There's a lack of appreciation for what you bring to his life. Um, so you just have to decide if that's what you want to deal with or not. I can't say that, your story is unusual. First of all, you meet these clowns online. I mean, my personal thought is that, these men on the internet like that on them apps, there's something wrong with them because otherwise they'll be able to meet women successfully, in real life. So I know people say, well, that's how people do things these days. Yeah, that might be, but does that really work? I mean, People say, "Well, I know somebody, some distant random third level person from some friend, that neighbor or something, some random person that, met somebody and married them." Okay, so does that mean it's a good relationship? Judging by what we see in this advice channel, people get in all kind of relationships and get and marry idiots too. So to me, just using that as the gold standard falls very short. Anybody can get married. That don't mean nothing. Let's talk about the quality of the relationship. The quality is of the two people, their morals, their values, their devotion to each other, their respect levels, that kind of stuff. Just the fact that they walked down there and got married, they had a wedding and all that, that don't mean nothing to Deborah. That means nothing. Okay, but if it's important to you, then I guess it's important to you. But you know, dating is that kind of thing. I mean, we haven't really come up with any alternative way. I guess matchmakers, maybe the paid matchmakers. But still, there's no guarantee that you're going to, click. I used to watch this show on Netflix about this Indian matchmaker, and there were some people there that was just like, "Wow, I see why your ass is single." But um, to me, that's like the only viable option, or getting a hook set up by relatives or something. But other than that, you're going to have to just date around until you find somebody that's a good fit. There's no way around it. Question number 13. This is a male, 20 to 34, from Gateshead in the UK. Wow, there's people writing in from some strange places today. So, the issue: dating struggles after recently getting sober. So I quit drinking about a month ago, and what a difference it's made in my dating life. And Deb is not for the better. I swear, in the past, I would have a few drinks. I would be way more funny, charming, and charismatic. Now, when I go and meet a new girl, I swear I'm basically autistic, and I don't enjoy myself at all either. And I definitely use alcohol as a crutch to gain self confidence and numb my anxiety. And that is my motivation for stopping. I was by no means an alcoholic, but I knew that I used alcohol as a tool to numb myself so that I would thrive better in social situations, especially when dating. I actually had it down to a science when I was drinking. I would take a girl out to have a few drinks. We would be laughing, having a good time, and I'd ask her to come back to my place and we'd hook up. Now it's like I'm too in my own head to even get a good conversation going. And it's like that version of me that has a few drinks and some liquid courage is not even real. I'm just so stiff and awkward. And what this tells me is that I made the right call by giving up alcohol because I really shouldn't have to rely on it to loosen up my personality. This has been a major wake up call that I've been using alcohol as a crutch for so long. I want to learn how to be that same confident person sober. And even if it means I have to go through a handful of really bad dates where I drop the ball big time, I would rather play the long game and learn how to date girls sober and have real, genuine confidence as opposed to something that can't be sustained. I care about my health long term. I'm a good looking guy and have no issues getting women, but what's killing me right now is my confidence and my sober personality. And I think I almost just want to take some anxiety away from dating to really get my head right because I think forcing myself into these situations doesn't benefit me. Okay, you need a therapist. Okay, long story short, you have a lot of emotions. Hey, Millie, you need to go to like group, and you'll be around other men that are working through their issues, and you can see how they're handling them. And the group leader will help you guide, you investigate your feelings and stuff about yourself and how you came to, because to me, it's not so much what you are now, it's why you used alcohol in the first place. And I think you have very good insight. It was your crutch. It was a way to make you feel like, you were friendly and bubbly and all these kind of things, but that was a false front. That wasn't the real you. So that's the part that I'm concerned with because you could start at the end and people try to do that. They put a band-aid on and say, well, they're going to fix it. No, the real way to fix a problem long term is to start at the source, the foundation, the root of the problem, and then the other things will fix themselves. You might have a few hiccups here and there as you advance along, but you got to get to the core problem. Why do you have all this lack of confidence? Where'd that come from? What happened to you? Who did that to you? And what is it that you thought alcohol was gonna fix for you? You see, it's not a long-term solution. You're tearing the body up. So I start there. Look into some groups. They might have alcohol. I don't know what they. Where were you? You were in some odd, interesting place. I don't know what they have at Gateshead, and I don't even know where that is in the UK. If they have what's equivalent to in the United States to Alcoholics Anonymous, or if you could just find some kind of male group thing that will help you. But that would be the avenue I'd investigate if I were you. Start at the core. Start at the source of the problem. Don't just try to fix, the tail end here. Figure out what happened and why it happened, and then you can undo it from the start, and everything else will unravel, and you'll be okay. Question number 14. This is a female, 20 to 34, from St. Paul, Minnesota. Summary issue. I'm sick and tired of being overly sexualized. At the ripe old age of 29, I know this is far from a unique complaint, but my God, I'm so tired of being constantly propositioned for nook from strangers. Oh my God. The barrage is so exhausting and demoralizing. I'm having a pity party because a guy I knew in high school reached out about 2 weeks ago. We chit chatted some with him saying multiple times he wanted to meet up, but he never actually asked me out. He's always been nice and very respectful and able to hold a decent conversation with what I thought was interest. But yesterday was his birthday, and I texted at noon to wish him a good day. Within minutes of talking, he randomly confessed that he quote, wants to do things to me, end quote, and has been fantasizing about it while looking at my photos. Wow, he said that to you and you didn't hang up? This made me feel so gross. I don't want to know if some guy I knew 12 years ago is maybe whacking it to my regular, deregular IG photos. I post nothing explicit. I don't need a marriage proposal for Christ's sake. Maybe just a single drink together first. A chance to feel out the vibes. Makes a girl feel like a piece of meat. Like, damn, you weren't interested in me as a person at all. Just a stranger wasting my time for 2 weeks. Damn, I just need to rant because I think he's ghosted when I told him I wasn't looking for hookups with strangers with a qualifier that I think he's hot and I'm still open to get to know each other and feeling foolish. I wouldn't have told his ass, oh, okay. I wouldn't have told his ass he was hot either. I would have told him you're a goddamn cretin. You rude, nasty, disrespectful fucker. That's the kind of stuff you're supposed to say to him. You don't let some man say something like that to you and you just take it. What was going on with you? That you thought that you were just supposed to listen to that and not fire and rip his head off. See, and then I would have went on social media and I would have told everybody. That's the thing about social media, it can do good things, but it can also bring you down. So you go online acting a fool, saying stupid stuff to people, don't be surprised. Like me, I'm a ruin you. I'ma tell everybody what you said and what you did and how disgusting you are. That's what Imma do. And they always say, that's not what happened. She's making it up. Stop fucking lying. You sought me out. Here's the chats. Here's the call logs on my phone to show you this is what he did. Especially if he texted this screenshot and it would be all over the internet. All you have to do is black out their phone number or like the first part of the phone. Leave the last 4 digits. So everybody who knows him will know that it's really him. Yeah, take care of this. You need to light him up. Question number 15. This is a male in the 22 to 27 age group from Overland Park, Kansas. Third issue. Our first date was great, but after she apparently spent the night with an FWB. Okay, so why is that your business? After one date, you try to stake a claim? Recently, I had a great first date with a girl I knew through some mutual friends. We same extended social circle. They had been crushing on for a while. We were both 24, by the way. We had exchanged glances and the vibes were good. So I finally pulled the trigger and asked her out after we had some good conversations. We had a great time at the pier, ate and played some games. This is a little embarrassing to admit, but I got her flowers. After I gave them to her, I told her I put them in my car so she didn't have to carry them around and be embarrassed. She said, well, but I want to carry them around. Chemistry was really strong, and we both said we were looking for something serious. We held hands, and she even let me sneak a kiss at the end of the night. She texted me the next morning that she didn't want to seem desperate, but she really hoped that she could see me again soon. This morning, I told one of our mutual friends I finally took her out on a date, and they told me a guy spent the night with her last night after our date. He apparently came over late, went to her room, and left early in the morning. I'm told that they have some sort of casual situation where he basically comes over and smashes a couple of times a week. Obviously, she isn't my girlfriend. I don't really have a right to be upset. But geez, this has kind of put me off from her. I'm wondering if I should continue dating her or not. How should I handle this? Is this a huge red flag? Sorry, I'd appreciate any advice. Okay, so this is some third party information that you got from somebody that you told about going out on this date. Now, let me explain this to you because you obviously you're young, you don't have no game. You say that you took a girl, you had a great time with this girl, and you're telling it that if the person's female, the person might be jealous and want to throw salt on her so that you stop seeing her and she thinks she'll have a chance. This happens all the time. They don't like the fact that they're jealous. Okay. Now, the opposite is if you told a male friend and he came back with some gossipy shit like this, you can bet your bottom dollar he wants her for himself. So he's trying to again get you off of her so that there's room for him to make a move. Now, why you fell for this is amazing to me. You admit that you don't have a real, you guys aren't a couple. So even if what they said is true, because I don't think it is, but let's just say that it is. So you just met the chick. And you don't know that after you go out with her a couple of times, that she decides that you the one that she want to smash with, and she would put dude in the wind. That's how that goes. But rather than that, rather than like see masculinity again, the masculinity is competitive. Like you're gonna step up alpha style. Say, well, shit, that might be what's going on, but that's just about to end because I'm here now. That's what you're supposed to say to this friend. Just exude confidence, like I said earlier in the show. That's masculinity right there. So you doing what you're doing right now, this is so what's after beta? What's lower? That's what that is. You sit up here fretting about some hearsay that somebody's throwing salt on this girl because you like her and you're falling for it. You're a fucking idiot. Okay, get your mind right, sir. You cannot be going through life like this. This is what's missing with fathers too. It's really sad so many young males are growing up without a father in their ear because what I just said to you about how people try to play you so they can get the girl or the girl can get you away from that girl so she has a chance. This is so common. There's people you can bet if somebody's throwing salt on someone else, that's their reasoning. Because there would be no reason for somebody to say something like this to you about somebody you went on one date with. Why are they trying to gossip? And you should have asked them that. It's like, okay, now you've told me this. What was your reason for telling me this? Well, because I just want you to know. Why would you want me to know? I didn't ask you to give me a read on her morals and her personal life. You just a gossipy little so-and-so. And then you're supposed to say, your ass, this is sus as hell. Don't talk to me anymore. And, I'm going to put your ass in the corner over there and on ice because I'm not really feeling the way that you're acting. So please, please listen to what I'm saying here. This is just the beginning. You only in the 22 to 27 age group. This kind of stuff is going to happen a lot. People even try to do this with your own wife because they want her. So get your mind right. You don't let nobody make a decision for you about who you date and who you like or anything else. You make your own decision. That's what a man does. Okay, this right here, this is like little bitch shit right here. I'm not feeling you at all. Don't do this. Question number 16. This is a female, 22 to 27, from Corpus Christi, Texas. Summer issue. My new boyfriend wants to nook all the time, 24. Wait, looks like all the time, 24/7. Wow. I'm gonna date my new boyfriend for about 3 months now, and he always wants nook. We live 15 minutes apart and see each other on most days of the week. On the days we don't see each other, he talks about it and asks for naughty photos. Are you sure this is a boyfriend? On the weekends, we often end up having it several times a day. Wow. 8 times on a recent Saturday. It's hard to just relax and watch TV without him wanting to jump on me. He seems to want it all the time. He says because he fancies me so much and gets really excited. I used to think that I had a high nuclear drive until I met him. I don't think he's doing anything wrong, by the way. In fact, I'm starting to wonder if I'm the problem because I just don't want as much as he does. I understand that new relationships are exciting, which might explain his frequent desire. However, I'm worried because I don't share the same feelings. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy our Nook Nook life, but I would be content with once or twice a day instead of multiple times daily. Is it concerning that my desire just isn't as strong as his? Well, if I were you, I would be concerned that this doesn't really it doesn't sound like intimacy. It sounds like somebody who's watching adult movies and getting himself worked up and then relieving himself using your body to do it. So to me, this is not romantic, it's not loving, it's not building any kind of intimacy between the two of you as a couple. It's just, no, this wouldn't really work for me. But remember, it's your body, so you decide who has access to it and when and where and for how long. So rethink your position here and consider if this is really the relationship that's really going to work for you long term. You say for 3 months, you good. I wouldn't have tolerated this shit for 3 days. Question number 17. This is a male, 22 to 27, from Denver, Colorado. Summary of issue: cautionary flags. I've been seeing a friend in dating as of late. I've really been on good date. I've been on really good dates and developed great connection. However, a lot of women seem to suddenly flake and run for the hills. I think a lot of women seem to run away at the first thing they hear or see that they don't like. Rather than ask more questions about it, they think the worst and run. I always see cautionary things that I think might be an issue. If I feel like the connection is there, I'll just ask some questions or look out for things. I feel like cautionary flags are treated as blazing red flags. Am I the only person who thinks this? Well, this is a personal. This is okay. Let me try to explain this real quick. A lot of this is based on your experience with dating and relationships. And it also has to do with, where these things are, what you call cautionary flags, on that person's list. So say a cautionary flag for me that would get you simply, completely eliminated is that you show up on the date smelling like herbalicious or drunk. For some others who imbibe in, who participate in that kind of lifestyle, that wouldn't be even a cautionary flag for them. They would probably be happy because they found somebody who's got something similar going on. So you see what I mean? A lot of what it's gonna depend on the person. And so like some women are looking for, and this will be a green light for them, a man who, so it's green, so they way up here, right? Who says that he's a God-fearing man, who's God-fearing, he go to church, he goes. For me, a man who comes in there and the first thing out of his mouth is, "What's my church home?" Immediately cut. Why? Because I don't do church. I don't do any kind of organized religion. I think the whole thing is stupid. Now, people can do it, but I'm entitled to my opinion about it, and I just know. It's not gonna work. So see, for them, that's a green flag. That's a go. That's a perfect. For me, that's a you out of here, buddy. So you see what I mean? I want you to put this. I want you to reframe what you're saying here, because you are not in those women's head. You don't know what kind of life experience they've had, what kind of situations they've been in. So what you see as a cautionary flag for them might be alarm rails ringing like off the chart because of their past experience. Also, like I said, as you get older, you have more dating experience, you're able to understand better what things mean. So it might present as just this one little situation that it's not that big of a deal at first, or from the first level examination. But you have from experience know, okay, but this is happening now, but that means this, and this is gonna follow, and I ain't about to stick around for that. And so people do out. So, no, I don't. Yeah, you're the only one that thinks that. And bottom line, to answer your question, you're the only one that thinks that. But I want you to hear my answer here and rethink think about what I said and how you're determining what should be a red flag or a cautionary flag for other people. That's not your determination to make. Question number 18. This is a female, 22 to 27, from Calgary, Canada. Summary of issue: I'm just 22 and about to graduate. My fiance left me and I got fired. Now I feel lost. Tell me, wow, that's a lot to have been going on at one time. I graduated this December with a degree. Oh, wait, no. Today I was let go from my job as a restaurant manager. The higher ups liked me personally and said they could see how hard I was working, but said that the field was probably not a good fit for me. That's all I know. I'm graduating this December with a degree in graphic design and a few minor degrees in business marketing and social media marketing. Oh, good. Okay. I feel completely and utterly lost. I don't know how to find a job with my degree. I don't know what I was doing wrong, and I'm honestly just really scared. Besides being fired, my fiance left me last week, and I honestly just feel hopeless. What would you do in my position? Where should I turn? I feel completely unequipped to handle this, let alone survive and thrive. I'm very depressed and anxious. I was raised by my grandma, but she died 2 years ago, and I don't have parents either. Oh, can you give me some advice? Okay, you poor little thing. And you're only 22. You're a baby. Okay, I don't know how much restaurant managers make in Calgary, Canada, but I don't she got a lot going on. Like, you know, I had those stress charts. She's got like she got like 4 or 5 of the top things. So her stress level is off the charts. And plus being only 22, she doesn't really have the life experience, to deal with this kind of stuff. Hold on a second. My internet suddenly dropped. Okay, there it is. I don't know what's going on here. Um, your first step, if you need money, is to find work. Now, do they have employment agencies there where you can sign up and do maybe temporary work? If not, can you go to another restaurant? You don't have to be a manager. You should have enough experience to be a server. You get them tips, right? You can go and work in fast food. I mean, just to get some money. You can keep looking for something better, but the goal is to make sure you have some cash in your pocket. But I would check out some temporary employment agencies and see what they can set you up with. As far as your graduating with your degree, where you're going to look for work, what kind of companies would hire a graphic designer and someone who does social media marketing? That would be Facebook. That would be, I don't know what they have in Canada, Google. I'm talking US companies. Things like that. You also some corporations who do a lot of public facing work need those kind of things in house. Okay. So what's your situation? Go somewhere, have somebody help you with your resume. They might even offer that service at school and start putting out feelers for what you can get and how much you would make. Do it now so that you have something lined up by the time you graduate. Okay. You're gonna be successful. You can do this. Turn yourself around and believe in yourself. You've already come a long way considering that you're basically by yourself. But watch who you associate with. Don't be going nowhere getting drunk. And if you go somewhere, so don't tell people that you're by yourself. Keep that a secret. You going to grandma's, you going to nobody needs to know that your grandma's and your family's not around. You don't tell anybody that. Keep that under wraps because it makes you look too vulnerable and a target. Okay, don't tell people that stuff. Even when you start dating, don't tell men that either. They don't need to know. That's my advice. Those are 3 things. That's okay. That's taking you into December, and I think you should be able to take it from there. Question number 19. This is a young man, 22 to 27, from Tampa, Florida. Summary of issue. Was told I come off as creepy and made people feel uncomfortable by my friends. A couple of months ago, I found out that one of my old friend groups dropped me because they felt I come off as creepy and made some of the girls uncomfortable. To give some context, I'm very introverted and I always keep to myself. On the rare occasions I'd go to a social gathering, I mostly just stand off on the side on my phone because I'm socially awkward. I rarely approach people, especially girls, which is why this caught me off guard. I was also at first confused because I haven't had issues like this with my other friend groups. Still, I took it with a sense of accountability. After putting some thought to it, I realized it was probably the way I spoke. I used to be harsh with my words, joke about things I shouldn't, and say things without much of a filter. I was actually working on this even before I learned what happened. It's a slow process, but I've been trying really hard. I've been careful about what words I should use, what topics I should joke about, watching my tone when I speak to people, and so on. And when I reached out to someone outside of the group to talk about this, they cut me off immediately, saying that they didn't want to be associated with me. I understand their choice, but it makes me anxious that people are labeling me as creepy or weird, even though that was never who I was trying to be. I really want to move on and grow from this, but this doesn't shake off the embarrassment and shame, and my self confidence has just disappeared. I never had bad intentions, but knowing I came across in a bad way makes me feel so ashamed. The only positive is that I now understand that I might be perceived and can use this as a learning experience. But I'm struggling with the amount of guilt and shame that I have. Can you give me some advice on how I can move forward? How do I change and rebuild my confidence? How do I deal with shame and guilt? Any advice at all would be appreciated. First of all, put the shame and the guilt behind you. Because when we're young and dumb, we do dumb shit. You can't undo the past, so sitting there fretting about it, in the here and now is useless, pointless, and just dumb. Okay, so don't do that. Stop. Just squelch all of that. How do you move forward? It sounds like you're already on that path. Bring it to your attention so that you're conscious of what you do and say and how you come across to people is very important. That will also help you in your career. So it's not just a social issue, it's going to be a professional one as well. So I'm glad that friend had enough courage to say it to you. Now, what I would suggest, since you do feel shame and guilt, is if you have a way to get in touch with that old friend group, to those people, you write them a note or however you contact them, and you say, I took this to heart. I'm really working on bettering myself. I want to extend a sincere apology to all of you for anyone who I made feel bad or whatever. That wasn't my intention, but what's that phrase? Like something about good intentions. The world is built on good intentions, or there's some phrase like that. But it's not really what you intend; it's how it lands. Is the bottom line. So you apologize to them and say, thank you for the time that you guys spent on me, and I appreciate your honesty. I'm going to use this as a tool to make myself a better man, and then that's it. You leave them alone after that. Okay. That should also help you feel better about it. Don't beat yourself up too much. You're young and you're gonna make mistakes in life. That's just the way it is. But you'll do better. And I appreciate the fact that you're on that path and you understand what you need to do and that you're already starting to do it. Let's move on. Question number 20. This young lady, 18 to 21, from Long Beach, California, summer of issue. I had to start hiding my stuff from my sister before I lose my mind. I'm 18. I have a 13-year-old sister who keeps going into my room and digging through my stuff. If I confront her, I get in trouble for being, quote, the more mature one, end quote. Then she continues to steal from me. I'm getting tired of constantly having stuff go missing, then finding it in her room or seeing her wear my clothes throughout our household. I've tried talking to her, making examples, putting cameras around my room, and even staying home. She somehow learned to work around it. Putting cameras in my room made my parents uncomfortable and unsafe. But I tried telling our mom that I'm the one who gets in trouble and made out to be the worst one. All I want to do is enjoy my own property. This has been going on since I was 8 and she was 3. Please give me some tips or advice. You in the 18 to 21 age group. Okay, so you 18. Move the fuck out. And then once you do, don't let her come over. Or if you move in and you share a space with somebody else, put a lock on your door. So when she comes, if your parents are stupid enough to let her come visit, then she can't get in your room because you got the room locked. She can't get in there to take nothing. And really, I mean, I know you living with your parents and stuff, so they probably don't want you. Um, oh no, that's terrible because I changed the time yesterday. That's unbelievable. Um, your parents probably, but you might want to talk to them about that. If you could put a lock on your door because of this theft and the fact that they don't, they refuse to discipline her about it. We knew better. I wasn't taking nothing of my father's stuff. I mean, my brother's stuff. And they knew better than to take mine because of my parents. They laid down the law and they knew if something was happening, you did something that you weren't supposed to, you're going to get severely punished. So we wasn't crazy. We didn't test my parents like that. Everybody, we told the line and minded our P's and Q's. Them two people, I'm not messing with them. Not. So your parents evidently don't have that. They spoiling your sister. She gonna go to college and be in the dorm and try to pull that stunt and get her ass beat because you don't do that kind of stuff. You don't be using other girls' cosmetics, taking their makeup, or wearing their clothes. That will get you will get jumped and beat up, and then you'll have to leave school because you have broken bones and whatnot to recover. So they need to fix this now while she's only 13. Question 21. This is a female, 22 to 27 from Planole, California. Another female is 28 to 34. So I have an issue. I wanted to run this situation by you before I called CPS. I am 27 and my sister, quote, Emily, is 30. She has two kids. Her stepdaughter, Mary, is 14 and her son, Aaron, is 11. I'm not very close with them. Her husband is a reclusive, lazy asshole, and Emily and I are just never close growing up. But I've been trying to be more present for my niece and nephew, particularly Aaron. So Aaron is her real child, and then Mary is the stepdaughter. Okay, I got it. He seems to be the lone wolf in their family, and I feel for him. He and his stepsister don't get along, and I know how bad that can be as a kid. He's also just really cool. Nancy's cool too, but she doesn't really care about me being present, which is fine. Aaron had a few mishaps since this past Christmas. In January, his appendix ruptured, and he's been complaining about his stomach. But he'd been complaining about his stomach hurting for at least a week. And when I saw him the day before the rupture, he looked genuinely ill. Like if that was my kid, he would be going somewhere ill. Emily and her husband wrote it off as a stomach bug they had all the week prior, and he was taking the longest to get over it. In March, he broke his ankle. Emily said she didn't know how, and Aaron wouldn't say. He just said it was an accident. At his spring school festival that I only made it to, he had a really nasty bruise on his jaw. He wouldn't tell me why. Emily said she didn't know either. Over the summer, he walked to my house one day, 4 miles. He said he locked himself out of the house without his phone. When I took him back, Mary was there. None of this is set right. Okay, you should have called CPS already. They started school last week. He has outgrown the uniforms Emily got him, so I picked him up some new ones and dropped him off at his school on my way to work. Well, as it was, he was in the nurse's office because his hand hurt so much that he couldn't participate in music. So they sent him down and he screamed at the nurse, not at her, but you know what I mean. So they asked if I could take him, which I did. Emily was working, so I'm taking him to urgent care for an x-ray, and he has 3 fractures in his hand. Okay, Auntie. They wouldn't put him in a splint until a parent arrived. Emily eventually came, but it took well over an hour of us just sitting there. Her knowing damn well I had already taken him and that she said she'd meet us there. She didn't think it would be, quote, that serious. He seemed down, so I didn't want to press him too much. But what kid goes to school with a broken hand and no one at home knows? I brought him some things to cheer him up today and asked more questions, but he shut me down and said it was an accident and he didn't want to bother anyone and thought it would heal on its own. Emily was out with Mary, so I really couldn't confront her about it. And her husband was over at their neighbor's house. I don't think he's being abused. Well, you're the only one that don't. Don't you think that that's all them injuries are not normal? Lady, wake the fuck up. Somebody over there, if not a couple of somebodies, are abusing that kid. But I don't think he's being paid close enough attention to. I've gotten to know him better over the last year, and I don't know him to be closed off or secretive like he's been when these things happen. He's also constantly asking when I'll see him again if he can come over to my house, saying he wants to see my pet lizard, which he's seen multiple times. Knowing my sister, if I raise concerns with her, even in a nice way, she'll flip out on me, which isn't the end of the world, but it also accomplishes nothing. I'm reading up on things, and some of this sounds like something CPS would open an investigation into, but I don't know if I'm completely overreacting by even considering it. My gut doesn't feel right. What would you do? I would have been called him. By the time this kid showed up with it was broken ankle. Okay, do you know how hard ankles are to break? That sounds like some undue force was put on, like he was pinned down and somebody did some undue force on his leg to break it. He got a broken hand. He got bruises all over him. He walked 4 miles to your house, and you can't put all this together and figure out that somebody, and I'm thinking it's that older sister, is abused, if not the stepfather. are abusing this child. Lady, get your mind right. I want you to talk to the school and ask them what they've noticed. Do that first. Then you go and call CPS and tell them what you want to make a report. They should be prepared for the fact that the kid is going to, he's not going to want to talk about it because he feels like that's the only safe place he can be. He's going to be afraid. So what you're going to have to do is offer for him to be placed with you. Okay, and CPS will do that. Your relative. He needs to be where someone can take care of him and protect him. And it sounds like that's his only option. Please do this. Do this tomorrow. Who knows, girl? I don't know. People are afraid because, just even at APS where I work, people are afraid because they just feel like, well, maybe it's me. I'm not seeing it right. They doubt themselves. And in the meantime, this old person is getting abused on the daily. Oh, I don't know. Maybe instead of, that's the purpose of the investigation. They determine if it's nothing, not you. You report everything. I reported a woman. And I knew her socially, and I took my daughter to her house because she had three little foster kids. Right. This is a true story. And my daughter at the time was about maybe 7, and she had the little foster girls 9. I mean they were close to the same age. So with the front room, the living room was beautiful, immaculate, nice furniture, everything. Right. So I forgot what happened. Why did I need to go into the kitchen? I can't forget. I can't remember. And so I opened that door to that kitchen. There were dishes piled up, like that. It had to be at least a couple of weeks with things moving in them. Okay. Oh no, that was at the end. That's right. That's when we get okay. First, I had to go to the bathroom. That's what it was. I had to go to the bathroom. So my daughter, I'm taking my daughter to the bathroom, and there's a narrow hallway. And so the bathroom's on this side of the hallway, over here. And on this side, you could see the little girl's room. And then at the end was her room. Her room, she got like this poster bed, what they call it, the kind with the thing on the top and four poster bed, beautiful, beautiful. The little girl's room, there was a one mattress, three little girls now, one mattress on the floor, a dirty blanket, and their clothes piled in a corner, no dresser, no nothing hung up, nothing. I didn't say a word, right? I'm looking. Now keep in mind I'm on my mother's daycare license and her foster care license because, you know, that was her backup person. So I'm looking, I know all of these things are reportable offenses, right? But I didn't say anything. I'm just looking. I'm looking. And the little girls, oh, see, our room. This is they all happy, right? So, they want my daughter to go play in there. I was like, oh, hell to no, it might be lights on that shit. So I said, oh, weird, let's go back into the living room. So I made an excuse. Do I need to go in the kitchen, right? Before she could even say anything, I opened that door. That's when it happened. Because it was almost time for us to go. I opened that door. And that's when I saw shit moving and stuff. I'm like, okay. So I went home, picked up that phone, and I filed a CPS report on that bitch. They went out the next day because I told them there's three little girls there, how young they are. She also has she has two adult sons who witnessed this. That's questionable too. Why are they there? They don't live there. Why are they coming to that house all the time? And these three little girls are there. I don't like that either. And then, the nastiness. It was just disgusting. They're being abused. She's taking their money and she's not spending it on the kids. So they wore her ass out. They was there as social workers at that house twice a week at first, and then once a week for like a year or so. They moved her to a better house. The girls got their own room. The social workers got them furniture. I mean, they did Oakland, Child Protection. They did a great job. Alameda County, they did a great job in this case. I have nothing but props for them. And they watched her ass like a hawk until them girls turned 18. Why do I know that? Because I have friends at CPS, and I, kept tabs on her. She stopped talking to me because she knew I was the one who did it. I didn't really care what. I mean, if she had asked me, I would have told her, yeah, I did it because that was just wrong. You don't treat people like that. So for me to see this, these girls they didn't have bruises on them. They didn't have any broken bones. They didn't have to walk 4 miles to try to find safety. But if you're an adult and you see that a child is being mistreated, you see that an elder is being mistreated, and you don't do anything, then your ass is trifling. I just can't even say what kind of nasty, disgusting individual you are. They're there to investigate. It might turn out to be nothing, but it might turn out to be something. And if you don't tell for them, you don't intervene for them, you don't reach out to support and take care of these people that are vulnerable parts of society, then you're just as evil as the person who's hurting them because you're complicit by sitting there just watching it happen. And that means you ain't shit. Okay. I'm just flat out going to say it. It takes you nothing to call CPS or Adult Protective Services. They will determine if it's a problem. That's not your call to make. Okay. Don't even think about it. You call. Yeah. Huh? And we see, if I was a social worker, I would have put their ass on some charges and taken them kids up out of there. But I think, they're so short on homes. And I mean, it's there's behind the scenes stuff that they didn't have any place to put the three girls. You know what I mean? And they want to keep them together because they're sisters. So I mean, they worked it around by watching her like a hawk, and she never knew when they was gonna come either. They did not tell her. It wasn't like appointment. They just pop up. Oh, what's going on with their little clipboard looking? That's how they do it. So I was very happy with the outcome of that. And I was very happy that I reported her ass because that was just wrong. Let's move on to question number 22. Female, 50-55 from Garden Grove, California. Males, 57 to 65. Summary of issue. My husband disrespected my boundaries about sharing my health information. My husband and I have been together for 5 years. He's 10 years older, so she's 50, he's 60. We've been married for 2. Most recently, my husband crossed my boundaries about disclosing my medical situation to his best friend. I was diagnosed last week with a tear in my carotid artery, which had been causing headaches and also problems with memory and focus. I was so relieved to find out what was causing all of my symptoms, but I'm scared, worried, and whether I have a full recovery, and I just feel really vulnerable. Everyone around us has known about my headaches, but not the cognitive difficulties. I confided in my sister-in-law, who I'm close to, but was clear to my husband that I want to otherwise keep a close hold on this with his friends and family. However, yesterday my husband said that his best friend checked in about me, and I said, "Oh, that's sweet. What did you tell him?" To which my husband replied that he had told him about my cognitive problems. I flew off the handle. I yelled, not great at my condition, and cursed at him. I know I told you how I felt about you not saying anything. This is my struggle, and I want to get to say who I share it with, etc. We haven't spoken since that night. Overall, I think I do a pretty good job of clearly expressing my boundaries. That said, I know I handled myself very poorly and need to apologize, which I will. Part of my anger also lies in the fact that my husband was fairly dismissive of my headaches and brain fog the last 2 months. He was certain it was dehydration and tried to talk me out of going to the ER. I know my husband doesn't intentionally mean to hurt me, but I feel hurt, angry, and disrespected. To give him some credit, he has been a great caretaker since my diagnosis. Any perspective and advice on how to get him to understand that while certain things might not be seen or important to him, they are important to me, and I need him to treat it as such. What you do is you sit your husband down. She's demonic. Dang giggles. What you do with your husband is you sit him down and say, okay, now I don't know. See, my thing is, even though we're married, there has to be something about him that he doesn't want other people to know. I would supposed to see comments to telling it to my best friends and everybody else out there. I would tell it. You know why I would do that? Because I would need him to understand how it feels. Sadly, in my life experience, because I'm old now, men don't seem to understand the emotional pain that they cause women until they feel it themselves. Then they get a whole new understanding. They get a whole new understanding then. But as long as you tolerate their nonsense and they don't suffer any repercussions, they don't feel like it's a big deal. So remember how I say match energy? That was coming right up. I'm going to spread some shit about you. Now at 60 years old, I'm sure there's plenty that you could share with about him because stuff be happening. Prostate problems, ED, heart problems, something. that he don't want other people to know. Oh, let me commence to start telling everybody. That's how I would do that. Okay. Now, what you have to do though is sit him down and say, after you do that, and he's all in his feelings, say, okay, now you understand how it feels. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that in our marriage, if one of us says that they don't want other people to know, we're not going to tell them. We're going to maintain the confidentiality and respect our partner's wishes, aren't we? And he gonna say yes, and then the problem will be solved. See, but you have to dog him first, because he try to act like it's no big deal. Question 23, female, 22 to 27, from Savannah, Georgia. Summary issue: how do you prioritize yourself in a relationship? I'm 27 and I'm looking for some advice. I've been in few serious relationships and currently in one with a great guy who is 28 for about 5 months. I've noticed a pattern of mine is that I tend to really want to take care of my partner, but sometimes give more than what was asked of me by them or even what is appropriate. And then I end up feeling burnt out and sometimes even resentful. Oh, you a giver type. My natural tendency is want to make them feel loved and supported. I'll cook meals, I'll go to events like games or shows they are in, hang out with their family, plan dates, etc. I truly want to do all these things. I have so much love to give. But my current partner is wonderfully kind and supportive and has always reacted positively when I say I can't stay over because I need me time or can't watch it, their dog because I work or whatnot. I feel good about that. However, I still find myself walking that line of spending more time and effort on our relationship than I do on myself. I also have an active social life and a big family. So after I feel like I have appropriately spent time with my boyfriend, my friends, and my family, there's no time left for me. So, how do you ladies who are older and have more life experience prioritize yourself? I'm looking for any tips and tricks or any other advice. Thanks in advance, Deb. Oh, and thank you, Candace, for picking my letter. Yeah, Raggedy Candace. Uh, it's no problem, honey Lee. This is an odd time for me, and you know it's a weird day. Um, one thing I want you to examine about yourself is why you feel the motivation to do all this stuff for other people. Usually, I'm not saying this is you, but I'm saying consider this possibility. Usually, people do this kind of stuff because they want to be liked. They want to be liked. They want people to like them. So you give and give and give in the hope that they will like you and give back to you. Whereas, people, you shouldn't go through life wanting people to like you. What you should be doing going through life is making people respect you. Respect is way more valuable than liking. 'Cause people will like you just for what you do for them. People like you because you flatter them and make them feel good. People like you because you set yourself up to be used. There's all kind of ways that people like you. But you know what? If you respect yourself, then they will respect you too. And that means having good boundaries. So if you're tired, you say no. You want to spend, if his family wants to spend time with you, you got to remember you just a girlfriend, ain't your husband. So I mean, you can see them every now and again, but that's not really an obligation. See, when I was married, I don't want to look at you. Get out of here. Go spend some time with your own friends. Exactly. That's it in a nutshell. And so what guilt? Oh, as a matter of fact, I forgot I can do this now. I can. That's it. That is the mantra that you completely hear on this channel. And so many women don't get that. They treat boyfriends who ain't nothing, like I said, except with some clown you sleeping with, like their husbands. When the men have made them kind of commitment like that to you, get out of here with that. So for you, like I said, really get into your own head and figure out why you're opting to do this. And I think you'll figure that out and it'll be easier for you to put up some better boundaries. Question 24. This is a young lady, 22 to 27 from London. Summary of issue. Why are men so creepy and start saying nooky things very quickly? Because they just gross. Lately, all the guys I meet are like that. Okay, you're only 22 to 27. Admittedly, I have been told that I'm very beautiful, but I don't dress, especially provocatively or anything. I do have an attractive face and I'm heavy chested with a nice behind. My thing is that it's just genetics and me going to the gym and watching what I eat. But it seems to be all men are interested in is, oh, that's all men are interested in. And it's so weird. Like, hello, I'm an engineer. I'm funny. I can crochet, cook, etc. Why is it you guys need to start talking about what I look like and nook nook? It's such a turnoff and creepy as fuck. What I'm going to suggest is as soon as they do that, what you say, what you look like, it's like, I know what I look like. I really don't need to hear that from you. Shut it down. And they start talking about something about some nook nook. You say, okay, I can see you're just a disgusting creep. I'm going to hang up now and block you, forget you know me. And you do that. If this is in person and they do that, you say, okay, you know what? You're totally disrespecting me right now. I'm not feeling you at all. This conversation is over. And then you do it. Make sure you have your pepper spray or in your hand when you do that, because some of them want to try to grab you anyway, like, like you not leaving, till I'm finished talking to you the way I want to talk to you. And I don't care if you don't like it kind of attitude. A face full of pepper spray will quickly tame his mouth. And, so you don't take this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, so many young women are afraid, so they don't speak up. They don't tell these guys that they're out of pocket. They don't say anything, and some of you even continue to engage with them. So you're on the phone talking to them, you say some nasty, stupid shit you don't have no business saying, and then you continue the conversation instead of just like let them talk to Mr. Click. That's like I said before, that's the bad thing about these new phones. You just hang up and you just be like, hello, hello, because you can't tell. There's no click sound. So you, phone manufacturers, please start adding that as an option when people hang up. Make it say click, make a sound. That will bring back the old school sound so that we can get the satisfaction of hanging up in folks' faces. You do that. Whichever phone company does that, you will have a whole bunch of women buying your phones, okay? Yeah, that used to be the best. That slamming down the hand on the cradle and they just make that click, satisfying click sound. Let's move on. Question 25. This young guy says he's 22 to 27 from Yonkers, New York. Summary of issue. My coworker wants me to date her daughter. Deb, help. I'm 24. My coworker, I think she's in her mid 50s, but I'm not sure. Heard my dad crack a joke about me being chronically single because I'm an introvert who only leaves the house for work to work out and play pickup with a bunch of high school and college buddies. And she's trying to get me to ask out her daughter who's 24, and I have no clue how to approach since we grew up in the same town and I never met, but a bunch of mutual friends apparently from me looking her up on Instagram. Okay, I don't know what that sentence was. She's definitely my type, and I'm interested, but saying, hey, your mom thinks we should go out is a great way to approach her. And I don't have any idea how to slide into her DMs without it being awkward. And he suggests, well, yes, you tell her mother, well, you set that up. Tell the mother to invite you over for dinner. And then you get to, just meet the girl over a meal with the mother there. Why is this hard? You don't have to do anything. She the one that wants you to meet her daughter to make her do the work to make it happen. That's not your job to do. And put that back on her. Say, well, I don't mind meeting her, but you need to make it happen. And then go sit back down at your desk and let her do the work. Okay? That's my solution to that. This is not your battle. You put a bunch of energy into something that you shouldn't even have a thought about. It's not your job. Question number 26. This is our final question of the day. This wonderful Labor Day 2025. This young lady's 20 to 34. She's African American, Washington, D.C. So her issue, following up regarding my roommate issue. Hi, Deb. I'm the lady who wrote you last month regarding my roommate's boyfriend who had been sexually harassing me while she was at work. This is yet another development in the story as the woman seems to not have learned her lesson. After the incident, I started suspecting my roommate of sneaking her bum into the apartment, but I couldn't prove it, so I decided to just let it go. Fast forward to 2 nights ago, after returning from an evening walk, I see my roommate and her boyfriend standing outside of our apartment complex. They were laughing and conversating, and I said nothing to them and kept walking, and I didn't expect her to be brave enough to bring him around again. Once I got inside, I immediately reached out to the landlord and asked her to check the cameras to ensure that he hadn't been in our apartment. I also wanted to check because the ordeal has left me extremely paranoid. My landlord now claims that he did not enter the house and that my roommate will be moving out next week, which is a great relief to me. However, the situation has been a bit tense. My roommate and I have not said a word to each other since she asked me for the recording I took of him apologizing for harassing me. How do I navigate this? I also plan to move out and will never have another roommate again if I can help it. I'm tired of women putting other women at risk over a man. Yeah, that I mean you can have another female roommate, but what's important is that yeah, she followed up. I guess that's why Candace put at the end. Um, it's fine to have a roommate, but what you have to do is choose someone who's got similar morals and values to you. It's not hard. You guys do an interview, and I think people don't do this anymore. You sit down and interview the person just like you interview them for a job and ask them, say, well, these are some house rules that I developed for you, for my new roommate. Would you be okay with adhering to these? Do you have a problem with any of these? And they look over, and then if they say no, then you say, okay, well, I need you to sign here that you will abide by these rules at all times. And they will do it. The main thing is you're not gonna be bringing no jack-legged fools up in here. I mean, I know you young girls want to get your swerve on and all this kind of stuff, but you bringing random dudes around the apartment where you have other females. I mean, there's a risk, A, that the girl might like your boyfriend and, be putting the moves on him. The other risk is that your boyfriend might just be sleazy and be trying to get at your roommates. So, it's something to think about. Well, yeah, I mean, if you can get away with it, but I tell you, like around here, I mean, even if just renting a room, it's like $1,500. Renting a one-bedroom apartment is about $2,500. So, a lot of people can't. They're not making that kind of money. They can't afford to pay rent and a car note and insurance, which is high in California, and pay the light bill, and put gas in the car, and pay for their commute, and eat. Can't do it. They don't have enough money. So they opt to share a space, which, for most people that makes most sense. But it requires you to put forth a little effort in the front part to make sure that you guys are on the same page. But I'm glad that worked out for you. And I hope that things, that you go forth and do great things and never have any problems with a roommate or even a neighbor, because neighbors can be just as bad as roommates these days. All right. So we'll be back. Thank you guys for coming and showing up today. Because I didn't expect a bunch of people to be here because I thought everybody would be like out, barbecuing and whatnot. Um, because it's a holiday. But I took my chances, and I'm glad that you showed up. And we'll be back next Sunday, if not before. At some point, I need to find a day to do. Um, I want to do a Sunday sermon type thing, more interactive, because what I want to do is talk about motherhood. Talk about motherhood and why people trying to pressure women into having children, and why so many women are opting out of they ain't having shit. Okay, which is why the government stepped in and tried to deregulate and end abortion, because young women don't want to be bothered with kids, and they're trying to figure out a way to make you have one. I have my lot of theories. Girl, you late, because I'm leaving now, Mika. Yeah, you can just listen to the recording. But you guys make your comments on the recording. And as always, let me put this up again. If you want to submit a question to the show, just follow the instructions that scroll across the bottom of the screen. You log on to debsterism.com. That's the website, debsterism.com, and you'll click the tab that says Get Advice. And then, if Candace reviews your letter and she likes it, then she'll choose your letter for one of the upcoming columns. I can't say it'll be next week, but, soon. Okay. Other than that, you guys can go enjoy the rest of your holiday, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye bye.